Welcome back. Okay, so finally we come to the most interesting part of this little to-do app that we've been building. Okay, even though it's been a trivial app, but intentionally kept it trivial so that we can focus on the important bits. The application, we will get to it later. We will build some amazing complicated stuff, but for us right now, the important bit is to understand these things and understand it to the point that we can work with it without no problems, right? So what is Redux? Redux is a predictable state container for the JavaScript applications. What does it mean? It's nothing more than a central place where we hold a state about the whole application, and whenever a certain component need information, that component can talk to central state, get that information. And that means that our application then have a single source of truth. For example, like, you know how you have in backend, if you're working with a PHP or any other backend languages, and we have these databases, right? Where we say that database is the source of truth. Well, it's kind of same for the UI part of this application. Redux is basically a central store which holds information regarding the whole application, and at any given time you can get any information that you need from the store and it will give you that information. That's pretty much it. Okay, so now the way we're going to understand Redux is by understanding the bank analogy, like what happens when you go to the bank, right? So let's go over the analogy. Okay, so I hope that everybody has a bank account. So what happens? Well, a bank has a vault where, you know, they keep all the money, right? Mine and yours and everybody's money, okay? And then the bank also has a cashier, okay? So as a customer, when you come into the bank, you're not going to go and get your money out from the vault directly. I mean, that would have been nice, but that's not going to happen, okay? So that means that somehow you have to talk to the cashier, right? You need to say that I want to deposit some money, or you can withdraw some money, right? And obviously, you need to pass that information to the cashier for the cashier to be able to go ahead and process that request for you. Okay, how do we map this now to Redux? In Redux, the first bit that you will see is action creator. Action creator, as the name states, is something that creates an action, right? And in our analogy, customer, as me and you, we are the action creators, right? Then we have action. So what is action? Well, when I go to the bank, I obviously want to either deposit the money or withdraw the money. So withdrawing the money, depositing money are the actions. Okay. Then dispatch. Let's just ignore dispatch for now. Reducer. Reducer is basically the cashier whom we pass our information to. We pass the action, and cashier understands that, oh, okay, so if you want to deposit the money, takes the money, put it into the vault or their banking system, right? And store. Store is basically the vault where all the money is in there. Like, you know, whatever money that you have in your account is stored in the vault, okay? Now, we said that ignore the dispatch. So dispatch is basically the communication when you tell cashier that, look, you know, I've got to take out £10. So you speaking to cashier is like dispatching an action, right? That's pretty much it. This is what Redux is all about. Now let's see what action looks like. Well, action is a plain JavaScript object which has a type and a payload, okay? So this is like a convention. You will always see that action has a type. So in this case, for example, deposit money, and a payload, which basically has, let's say in this case, amount of £10 that you want to deposit. What about reducer? Well, reducer is also a simple function which takes the state, in this our case, you know, the vault, and the action from you. So if you want to deposit the money, and let's say that you already have £100 in your account, cashier as a reducer will take that £10 from you. Cashier also acts as hash to the state, and they will do whatever they need to do on the computer, go to the vault, whatever, but they will add that £10 to the money that you already have. So that means that next time when you check, it's £110. Same thing that if you withdraw £10, it will be then 90. And that's pretty much it. Okay, we're going to write some functions and we will see how Redux works. Okay, let's go to the browser. What we will do is we will write these functions in the code pen, which obviously is a editor in the browser, because there is no point of us writing that in the code editor and compiling it. These are just the demo functions which are going to help us understand how Redux works, right? So if I go to code pen, I can start coding. Okay, and let me arrange everything. So because we are just going to need a console and we just need the JavaScript, nothing else. So okay, we need Redux, so let's have a look. There we go. That means now we have Redux. Okay, so let's start creating our actions first. Okay, as we saw here. Yeah, so this is going to be our actions. So we have two actions, withdraw and deposit. Okay, so create two constants, withdraw money, which you will see why they are useful in a minute, but it's a good habit as it helps in comparing the values and stuff. And I will also call console.clear so that we don't get a lot of errors like the way we have now. Okay, let's now create another constant, and that's going to be deposit money, and that would be deposit money. Okay, so we've got two constants. These are not actions, but these are just the constants that we've defined. Actions are going to be const deposit money action. Okay, and that's going to be a function, and it will accept amount, right? Because obviously when you want to deposit the money, you need to know the money, right? So that's pretty much what it is. Okay, and from here we can return an object. Type will be deposit money. Okay, payload will be money. So now because we have the same key and value, we can skip the value. I'm going to copy this action because we need another one, and this one is going to be withdraw. It will also accept amount, but this, the type becomes withdraw. Okay, so we've got deposit money, withdraw money constants that we used here for the types, and actions. We are pretty much done with the actions. We need a reducer. Remember, this is what reducers look like. Cashier is the reducer. What I will do is I will say const cashier reducer. Okay, that's going to be a function which will accept a state. It will also accept an action. Okay, and this is going to be a function, an arrow function. Now we're going to have a switch statement. Okay, and in the switch statement, what we are going to do, well, we are going to look for action.type. Okay, and here's what we'll do. We will say, let me scroll up a little so that you can see. Can I make this bigger? Okay, we will say case if it is deposit money. Well, in that case, return state plus action dot payload dot money. Another case statement will be that if it is withdraw money. Well, if that's the case, then we just can go ahead and say state minus action dot payload dot money. What would be the default? Well, if these two cases don't match, we will just return the state. Now, at the moment, the state is undefined, right? But that's not how it's going to be, because you'll need to have certain money in your account where you can withdraw the money, right? So let's just say const, and we had this concept of vault, right? So let me say Walt is equal to an object where the money that you have in your account is £100. Okay, so that's going to be our sort of initial store or initial state. And then I can say that state is equal to Walt.money. So once I've done that, now comes the fun part. From Redux, we will get combine reducers and create store methods from Redux. Okay, so Redux basically gives you these two functions. Okay, now combine reducers is going to be superfluous at the moment, but we will still use it because we want to get into the flow, right? So here's what I'll say: const root reducer is equal to combine reducers, which we are importing from the Redux. And what it does basically, that we can provide lots of reducers and it will just combine them all. So what is our reducer here? Well, cashier reducer. Okay, so now we've got our root reducer. Next, we will create our store, right? So we will say const store is equal to, again, using create store method coming from Redux and passing it our root reducer. Okay, so now we've got our store ready. Let's do this. Store dot dispatch. Remember when I said dispatch is something that comes from Redux? And let's say deposit money action. And let's say we want to deposit £10. Money is not defined. Where is money not defined? At 18. Let's have a look. Oh, you know what? Yeah, obviously you can't just say money is equal to amount. So this needs to be amount, right? I mean, you could say money and then is equal to amount, but I would rather use amount. So I don't know why I did that. But let me go ahead and change this and change this. Okay, sorry about that. We have dispatched the action. Let's get the state, restore, and we need to cancel log. With any luck, missing, oh, there we go. So we started off with the £100 in your account. You went ahead, you basically deposited £10. You passed the action. The action then went through this reducer, right? It checked, is it, the type is deposit money? Yes, it is. It went ahead and it added it to the state. So if I were to dispatch another action, and within a luck, we should see 120. Okay, now let's go ahead and say you take out store.dispatch, and I think we called it withdraw money action. You need £50 and you took £50 out of your account. Let's see what we get now. So give it a minute for it to refresh, and there you go, 70. Again, you take out another £50 and we should be able to see 20. And we do. That's pretty much it. This is what Redux is all about. A sort of central, place where we have a state, and then you talk to the state through these actions that you dispatch, which comes from the Redux itself. Once they are dispatched, then they go through the reducers and they update the state accordingly and then return it. That's pretty much it. So now that we have written these functions, let's just go back for a refresher. Action creator, which is customer, that yourself. Action are these two, deposit money, withdraw money that we just wrote. Dispatch the way you would communicate that to the cashier, or for us, the functions that we wrote, dispatch comes from the Redux. Cashier is a reducer which accepts deposit, which accepts the action and has access to the store and will act accordingly depending on the type of action that you passed on to the cashier. And that's pretty much it. That's Redux in a nutshell. I hope that it was useful, and we will start implementing Redux in the next lesson.